explain the details of how the Rattanawaree fountainhead was created. I'll tell you how we built it, which will be divided into 3 parts. The first part will cover the water inlet, the second part will explain how the fountain's outlet works, and the final part will discuss the overall piping system, including the pump. Please stay tuned and watch. Today, we'll start with the water inlet section, explaining how the pipe brings water into the fountain and what it receives. There are some details, so please follow along. This part here is the water inlet, because from the pump, of course, we need a hose or pipe to bring the water into our nozzle. Here, you can see that we use a 2-inch PVC pipe. This is because we want to reduce the turbulence of the water flow entering the system, even though we only use 1 stream of water. At this point, the pipe expands to 2 inches in order to reduce the swirling of the water. This chamber here is left with an empty space of about 2 to 3 inches, so that when the water reaches this area, it doesn't just shoot straight into the center, but instead the water will flow into the nozzle throughout this entire area. Here you can see that we use a plate that's as thick as 1 centimeter, and it's secured quite tightly with screws. This is to prevent any leakage at the edge where it connects to the 30 centimeter PVC pipe. As you can see on the outside, this is a 30 centimeter PVC pipe. So with just over 1 centimeter, there is enough space to secure the screws. Therefore, that's all there is to closing off the water inlet. Since we have secured it with 24 screws, this is to ensure that no water pressure can leak through at all. So, as you can see, it might be a bit difficult, but we don't really need to remove this often. However, in some cases where there is if there are unwanted obstructions that get stuck inside and can't be removed any other way, then we might have to disassemble it. Another case is if the filter inside becomes very dirty, in which case we need to take the entire filter out to clean it and then reassemble it. Therefore, when using this type of fountainhead during its usage cycle, all parts will need to be disassembled. That's why you'll notice that the spacing of the holes must be very precise, so that it can be assembled and disassembled many times without damaging the device. Now, if you open it up, the first thing you'll see is the mesh screen. This mesh serves to prevent dust or any unwanted debris from getting inside and causing blockages. The mesh is about the same size as the screen mesh we commonly use. Then, you'll notice there are 4 screws holding it in place. Once you remove all the screws and take out the entire mesh, you'll be able to access the filter. We know this because we've already taken this part out. On one side, it's a mesh screen, while the other side is a stainless steel screen with fewer holes. As you can see, all the water is divided into these tiny holes. The mesh on the first layer is mainly for blocking debris or insects. Right now you can actually see some insects caught in it. This is because it's the first time we've opened it in a long while. Now, as for the filter inside, it consists of tubes. The size is similar to ink cartridges in pens, and these tubes need to be arranged to fill the entire space. And every day you have to make sure that they are perpendicular to the pen. Here, it will look similar to a honeycomb. Each one is about 10 centimeters long. So, the purpose of the water in this section is that all the water that enters after passing through the water transformer, the powder filter, and the water divider grid into various holes, the water will then flow into the channels of this honeycomb, which become tubes, or in this case, water tubes. The water will enter all the tubes, and then, as the water comes out of the tubes, there is another layer of mesh to prevent the tubes from slipping out that way. You can notice that this section is 30 centimeters long, but the tubes are about 10 centimeters long. Therefore, we have space on the side. The area where the water enters the honeycomb is about 7 centimeters, and the remaining part is also an empty space. This allows the water that passes through each hole of the honeycomb to realign itself, similar to how we twist small threads together to form a fiber. This works in the same way because the impurities in the water are separated out and fall to the bottom in front of the holes. After that, at the end point, by that time, the swirling flow in each section will have decreased significantly and the flow will be almost straight. Then, after passing through this honeycomb, we collect it together and it comes out. The outlet hole is about 18 millimeters, so you can see that all the water is collected, and there is only one exit, which is the hole for the water outlet. The flow will be aligned in a straight line, just as we can see here. In the next episode, we'll look at the inside. We'll see how the pipes are arranged together. Please stay tuned for part 2. Goodbye.